Welcome back to Relationship Ready. I'm Kevin Markman, and this is where we talk about our relationships and try to relate. So we're going to hear a story today from our guest today, Freddy. Welcome, Freddy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. What would you like to tell me to get to know you a little bit and tell our audience to get to know you a little bit about you?
I'm a comedian here in Rochester, sign language interpreter. That's it, really.
That's it? All right. That is good to know. Just living your life. Yeah, good. All right, so what we are doing is we talk about a relationship, so the beginning, middle, and end. So tell us about the beginning of this relationship.
The beginning of this relationship, I was dating. I wanted to date a friend, right? So I was just thinking about who has been a good friend in my life, and stuff like that. And while I was in California, I was thinking one of the best friends I've had that has been a girl has just been this one girl named. Right? And I was just thinking she's a cool person. Maybe let's try this instead of looking for just someone who's just really attractive. And let's look beyond that and look for more characteristics. So while I'm in California, she's in Virginia. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see if I can build something, and then soon I'm going to leave California and I'll come to Virginia and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so you were thinking about wanting to build a relationship that wasn't just looks, that was more on a friendship, and you reviewed who was in your head about friends,
right?
And it came up in your head as a possibility. Take me back earlier to where did your relationship start and you developed a friendship? Where did you first meet? What happened from there?
Right, so we first met probably in middle school, but we didn't really get cool until high school because, when you get into a high school class, they sit you by order last name, and our last names are close. So we're sitting in rows, right here. We're right across from each other. And
so that's what brought you together, was sitting next to each other.
Of course, sitting right next to each other. I'm talking just so much, and she's the only person that's going to listen to me. So, just off rip, I'm annoying everybody, but you're interacting with my annoyingness in high school, I'll just off rip,
and she accepted that. She was like, "You're not that annoying.
Exactly,
you're my friend."
It was funny to her, So that's always good. You make a girl laugh, and then you're in there, right? So, so after that, we just developed that friendship from high school. It was
all through high school.
Yeah, probably sophomore, junior year, and then through college, we just stayed in touch, and just every once in a while, we just always kept in touch, and she was a good friend just to, talk to. And I was like, that's a good quality to have. I know you're a good person.
So what would you would do stuff in school and then out of school, develop together as part of a group or just individually, or how did it go from that first day where you were in the desk next to each other to staying connected through high school and through after high school?
Right. It's funny enough that I was working at Wegmans at the time. How crazy is that? There's a Wegmans in Virginia, and something happened my senior year where they weren't going to give me my scholarship. So then I was like, damn, I need to get a new job. I ain't going to stay here. So she worked at Papa John's, and she was like, you know what? I know the person there. Let me get you a job at Papa John's.
Okay, so she hooked you up.
She hooked me up. We would hang out sometimes after school, but we're completely different people. You know what I mean? She's very religious. I'm very not religious, and I do lots of crazy stuff, and she's very non-crazy. So it was we'd hang out, but it was just we'd go to IHOP or something.
So you talk, you go to IHOP.
Right. So then she gets
you worked at Papa John's then with her.
Well, after, we would hang out a little bit. She got me a job at Papa John's, and I'm like, all right, for sure. We just built our relationship from there. It's we hang out all the time. We work together, and it's just we met cool. Then we start doing a lot more things together. So
yeah. All right, and that happened through college, moving, or what?
We worked in high school together, and then I went to a college, and it was not too far away from her, a couple hours ago. But we would just talk. We weren't really any romantic, anything like that. But we were just mad cool. I've always been mad cool. So
And you saw each other during college, or just talked during college, or
FaceTime, stuff like that.
But not in person.
I would send her letters.
You'd send her letters.
That's real. You know what I mean? Some written stuff.
So that meant something more.
Well, I mean, sometimes, in this fast-paced world, you're not sending letters out to anybody.
Right.
So she sent me letters. I sent her letters.
Nice.
So, okay. Cool. But at that time, I was never thinking of it as more than anything. It's just like, you one of my best friends. Like, I can kick it with you. I can tell you all these things, and you're not going to, act a certain way. So
you had that trust,
yeah,
friendship. You could talk about whatever was going on, and that lasted through. Then what changed?
That lasted for a long time. But then, I was just dating around, and it's like I couldn't find nothing serious. And I was like, at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of just all this dating. Just like. Because I got this rule, right? I do like a 4-month thing. It's not really a rule, but it's just something that happens. I date a girl for 4 months. Then after 4 months, it's like, like we'll see if things get serious, and they don't get serious. And then I just date another girl after 4 months. It's kind of like leasing a car almost.
Okay.
But with the women. But I'm not leasing. That just sounds wrong.
Right. But you're trying it out for 4 months, and then you're making a decision about whether or not it's going to go serious. Or whether or not it's casual and sex and hanging out and interest and stuff like that within the 4 months, and figuring out what you like and what they like.
You cleaned it up very nice.
Okay.
Because the way I was like leasing,
because they like leasing you also.
Yeah, they were probably leasing me. You know what I mean? So it was what it is. But
you knew you wanted to be serious.
Yeah, but at that point, it's like I'm getting older. I'm like 23. Like all this leasing stuff, you're throwing money into the fire. You know what I mean? It's better to own a car, consistently and build that relationship. You know what I mean? And so I was like, dang, so what's a good quality? Because all these other qualities I'm looking at, like, you look good, like, that's good. But then after a while, like, all right, your looks is not enough. I'm going to need something more from here. So I'm like, well, what do I need that's more? And when you sit down and you start thinking about that, it gets to... what's a good quality, right, for a partner, like someone that you could grow in the future? Like, if I have kids with you, are you going to be a good mother?
Okay,
you know what I mean?
That's a quality. Looking, are you going to be a good mother in the future?
You accidentally have babies with a lot of women, right? You know what I mean? I see my brother; he has 3 baby mamas.
Yep.
3 baby mamas, and it's just all bad. So
did he have the 4-month rule and stuff too, or
no? He had more like a 4-day rule. Okay. It's like 4 days you don't hate me. You're be my baby mama. So it's like,
okay.
So
you're like, I'm not looking for the baby mama. I'm looking for the serious or the casual in 4 months. And the qualities were: would they make a good mother? What other qualities were you talking about?
Do I feel comfortable with you? Can I talk to you? Are you not like, like judgy, preachy, that type of stuff? Okay. Like, are you just a cool person? Like, can I be cool with you? You know what I mean? I feel like that's always important.
So you went through your bunch of friendships that you had, and you went, this is one that has a number of those qualities.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I was just like, who's cool? Who do I talk to all the time? Like, who is someone that I wasn't necessarily thinking about being in a relationship with, but I just want to hang out with you? Maybe I could take that into a relationship and see how that goes.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So how did that go? Did you make that decision and then shift it? At what time, where, when, how? Give us the details on that.
All right. So it was cool that I started making that transition around probably like August 2019, right? August 2019, just slowly just sending out a text. You ever send a text, like a risky text, and you just throw your phone and you're like, I don't know what you're going to say. I'm just
like, it's out there.
I'll pick it up tomorrow. Okay. I did that a couple times, and then over a course of a week, after we got 3 text messages done, then I'm like, oh, okay, like this could possibly be a thing, So I'm like, all right, for sure. But I'm still in California at the time.
Okay,
she's in Virginia. She's in Virginia. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe this is good, just build that foundation first, and then when I get over there, it's all cool. So I'm like, I don't know exactly when I'm going to get over there, but I know I'm going to get over there within a year. Then,
and you have a plan to be there based on her, or you plan to be there?
Well, I was planning
because you're going anyway.
Yeah, I was planning to just go anyways, and that's just
okay. And so the risky texts were like, what kind of topics were the risky texts that you were like, I'm putting that out there, and then you get a good response? Like, what kind of risky?
The risky text was just like, hey, like this message if you like me back. You know what I mean? Like that. Like you
want to take it to another level.
You got to adapt it to the new generation. Like you can't send out the notes with the boxes anymore. It's like it's all feedback on the text. Like all right, if you like me, double tap this message and put a thumbs up or something like that.
Yeah.
But those types of texts and just send them
and
out
you were
there.
getting good double taps and stuff
I was
like
getting
that.
them back, and it's like, oh, for sure. And I was like, all right, we can move from here. You get the first approval, then you gotta search and see,
Okay. But you had the intimacy and the connection and knew each other and where you stood and what your values and what stuff was going on. You're like, I could go there. So once you put the risk out, how long was it and what happened between California to Virginia?
How long? So that's probably about August, and then I didn't move out to Virginia till like May. So like pandemic happened, and I was like, I graduated college, pandemic happened, and I'm like, damn, like I ain't really much to do out here. So, well, you know how it was early in the pandemic, right? Because it was also like it wasn't just the pandemic, but it was a lot of protests and things happening too, and it was just a crazy
the whole world
time.
Was blowing up and become more aware and doing all that stuff. Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there, you have that postgraduate like clarity where it's like, what do I do with my life now that I ain't got nothing to do? So I was like, I might as well join the protests, right? And at the time, I was living in a part, California called Clan T. It's really called Santee, but they call it Clan T because a lot of white supremacists, right? So I was like, this is nothing. I've been here a couple months, but then I was driving past. Like a Best Buy or something, and they had a little local bank outside, and they had so many white supremacist people outside protesting, and I was like, protesting just everything that was going on in the world. I didn't even see anything to protest, and they were protesting, and I was like, I'm the only black person here. I'm gonna need to get up out of here. So I was like,
are coming.
Exactly. So I was like, all right, so this is the perfect time to go. So that's probably in like May or something. I just go to Virginia. They're out there protesting in Richmond, Virginia. It's a heart. They're doing a whole bunch of
statues and all that stuff.
They're trying to tear them down. I'm like, yeah, fuck this, bro. I'm in there. I'm deep. I'm deep undercover.
So when you moved out, what was the conversation between you and her?
Oh, it was just like, bro, like we've been talking this whole time. Like, oh, when you come down? I'm like, I don't really know. And now, like, you know what? It's time to come out there. So she was happy, and I come out there. She lived in the city, so it's like, all right, for sure, come crash with me and all this, and it was good, but it was good until it got bad.
Okay, so when you moved out, were you together already? We were not yet.
We were together, like we've been talking mad time, but it's like that like long distance relationship where it's like y'all cool and y'all say y'all together, but until you get that intimacy in person, you don't really know if it's gonna if it's going to match and it's going to click. So that time, once we got there, then it really solidified.
And it clicked.
It clicked.
Okay. All right. And was it a commitment? Was it open? Was it, hey, you're crashing here and we're just playing house? We're being house? What are we doing?
It was definitely a little bit playing house. It was a commitment. It wasn't open. So. It was her house, so I gotta kind of really follow her rules. I'm playing house. I don't know what she was doing, but I'm like, I need to stay here. I have no job or nothing, so I was like, all right, for sure.
And that was good for a while.
Yeah, they call that hobosexual. You don't got a house. You need to stay somewhere. Please, baby, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
But you had the feelings too, because of the friendship.
I did have the feelings, but it kind of like pushed things a little bit further than what it was, But because I'm not trying to live with somebody to a little bit later. But we were just staying together for the summer and stuff like that, and it was cool, just building a relationship. But it's the heat of the protest. I'm talking about fire, and she's white. I don't know if I told you this, but she's white. So it that was a little like I never thought about it before. But then it started to come up, and I'm like, damn.
It was in your face every day.
It's different. Yeah. It's just a little different. You know what I'm saying? I like white women. I love them. You know what I'm saying? But then at the time, it's like, I'm showing you all this protest stuff, and you looking at these videos of black people getting killed and all this, and you're not feeling no way. You look at them, and you're like, damn.
Like you don't know the struggle.
No,
you're fighting for it, but you don't know the struggle.
Well, she's just looking at it like, and I'm like,
it's hurting.
That's my nigga right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like there was a type thing, and it just look awkward. It's like, damn, I'm over here about to be in tears, and you like, well, shit. trying to watch a movie, like like it's just a little bit different, and at that moment I was at the peak of my radicalness,
Yep. So you were looking to connect with her on and be like, we're in this together,
like,
and you were like, you got a different world that I'm seeing more closely and living in the house of.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wanted her to be black. She wasn't black, and I was like, why aren't you black? You know what I mean? But it wasn't until that moment that I realized, like, oh shit, like you're not black, like you're not going to understand, you're not going to feel the same. So,
so that was disconnected you, or that was a struggle to overcome?
That disconnected us for sure. But we were together for a long time, but physically together for about 2 months or so, and then after that, I was like, it's really not good.
What was the downward hill?
Oh, I was telling her, I'm like, yo, I'm at these protests. Where are you at? Why are you not going to these protests? And then she's like, all right, I'll go to a protest. And I was like, all right, well, you need to go by yourself. And like, you need to go figure this out.
Showing up for me and us and our culture and our race, or are you being white woman showing up to be like, I appreciate it, but I'm going to go watch a show?
Exactly. And then at a point, she's tried her hardest. And then I realized, like, none of the stuff that you're trying is ever going to get to the point that I need you to get at, so there really ain't nothing we could do to do. You know what I mean?
Because no matter what she did, she couldn't experience being black and being oppressed in that.
The only thing
she was trying, and you appreciated it,
a little bit. I asked her to try, she would try, but it's just like
felt hollow.
Yeah, she's just a thick white woman. I don't know. You're not a black man, but as a black man, that's our weakness. Yeah. It's just thick white women. You know what I mean? Like, I tried my hardest.
And she fit those characteristics.
I tried my hardest. She was a nice woman and thick, but it's like some things are a little bit more important. You know what I mean?
So how did it go? Once you realized that, where did it go from there?
Well, after that, it was just like, I got a job offer up here in Rochester. So I was like, you know what? It's just not going to last anyways. I'm going to have to move up to Rochester. You're going to stay out here in Virginia. I ain't trying to do long distance. You know what I mean? So
did you want to? Did she want to?
At that point, not really.
Okay, for both of you.
For both of us. She understood what I was looking for. She couldn't be that. And I was like, yeah, summer's over. I don't really need a place to stay. So...
All right, but you still had the feelings, and
not at that point.
The friendship change, or the attraction change, or what?
Not at that point.
Okay. So you lost it. You caught the feelings earlier. You lost them then.
Yeah, she's really sensitive. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's like she's staying in a townhouse with a whole bunch of roommates, and me being like the guy that I am, like, we're a little bit different. I'm not really with all the rules and stuff, and she with all the rules, and we kind of clashed over these house rules, and it's just her being super sensitive. So you have arguments and stuff about it? We just had one argument where it's like, you know what, let's just not live in the same spot. And then after that, it was just like, all right, for sure, we done.
Okay. And then you separated into your own lives a little bit, and then you got opportunity to come here instead of staying there. Right. There's nothing strong enough keeping me here.
Nope.
Okay. No. You mentioned the religion part, the difference in that. Did that impact throughout the relationship at all, or was that something that brought you together? Or
it didn't really bring us together. It didn't really bring us apart. It's just we're different. I don't care about her religion and stuff like that, but it kind of guided some of the things she wanted to do. She was celibate.
Okay.
Right, and that's a big thing. And I was like, I could maybe do it, and I was like, no, can't do it. You know,
all right. But you wanted to try it. You you're looking for the serious.
Exactly.
If this can grow into my kids, my wife, my life, then it might be worth it. But not if the rest of the stuff didn't line up.
Exactly. I was like, well, if you're engaged, does that mean like you can start? And she was like, nah, we got to be married. And I was like, well, damn. Like,
okay, so that was a bridge you weren't ready to cross and put yourself into.
I was gonna propose to her and get her engaged tomorrow. And that meant I could, you know what I mean? But it wasn't applicable to the moment.
Yep.
Okay. So I was like, I thought I could get past it, but then I was like, nah, I can't get past it.
Okay. So were you able to stay friends, or did you disconnect?
Oh, I don't talk to her. No, don't even talk to her. But does anybody talk to their exes?
Some people do, and some people do not. It's hard to do.
I don't talk to my exes.
Okay, but you don't talk to any of your exes.
I don't talk to any of my exes.
Okay.
They don't exist anymore.
Okay.
They're
And
somewhere.
is there hard feelings, or is it just that you're in a different life?
Not hard feelings. I just don't know about them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like they literally do not exist.
Okay.
Do you talk to your exes?
I talked to a number of my exes. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Because your
I'm still
current
friends with a
girl
bunch of
thing care about that.
If we have enough security,
Okay.
then she doesn't care. If I'm spending my time with them, that's different. Then
For
she
sure.
should be concerned.
What do you talk about? What do you talk to your exes about? Like, what?
I got a message from one of them just recently to go, I love all your posts and stuff like that. Looks like your life is all different. More power to you. I'm like, thank you. More power to you too. I hope your life is good. So, and we'll run into each other someplace and say hello. But,
Okay, I tend to block them on all social media and move cities.
Okay. All right. And that works for you.
You know, it's one technique.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. It is. And we're all about inclusive and whatever technique. So,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
this was an experience in a full relationship. It started from 8th grade till through the pandemic, from friendship to moving forward. What did you learn from this relationship?
I learned that you gotta find out what's really important to you. What is that one thing that matters, and then start from there. When you're searching and you're trying to figure out who you want to be in a relationship with, and start from there. You can't just have a whole bunch of random things that you want and then just start picking like, all right, well, I'll start from here and start from here. You gotta prioritize it, put it in a list, and start.
So you have a priority list now that's more clear to you.
A lot more clear.
Okay.
Yes, if my girlfriend's watching, very clear.
Okay. And what's your top priority that you have now?
Top priority now is you got to share my culture. You know what I mean? You got to understand what I understand and at least have experienced a little bit of it. I can't, because there's some things I cannot share with you, you know, and I just expect you to know. And if you don't know, then it's just like you can never get to that point. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that's great. Well, this is great. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience or say?
Follow me on social media, Freddy Do Less TV, on Twitter, Instagram, Freddy Do Less. Twitter also, Freddy Do Less, if you like music reviews and stuff like that. But then other than that, that's about it, man. I appreciate you having me out here. And
appreciate you doing this. Thank you very much. Freddy Do Less, everybody.
No problem, man. Have a good one.
Thank you for coming to Relationship Ready. Subscribe, like, and support us, because we'll support you. Take care. Thank you.